Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a while. I know it's been a long while since the last episode I posted. A lot of things happen behind the scene. Obviously, there's always a reason of the why I'm not posting because obviously Unfiltered with Mia is my baby. Just a lot of little obstacle that came along the way that I had to overcome, but we're back. We're back. And I'm excited. I will be doing a very raw, honest live update with you all. Because I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen later tonight. I don't know if that could be maybe my last episode. I don't know, and I don't want it to be the last episode either. But obviously, as you all know, I'm based in the UAE, and with the situation ongoing, life is a bit unpredictable. That being said, I must say that the government is doing such an incredible job because we are safe. I know that on the news you can see a lot of things about Dubai, the UAE and all of that, which is fair enough. But I must say, living here, I am a living proof that where everyone's just living their life as normal as we can, because obviously we get like alerts when we have to be like safe. The government is intercepting the missiles and drones and all of that, so we are safe, but obviously we're not living life how we usually would have lived life. So all in all, I'm not going to really go too much into the politics. That's not what the podcast is all about. But I just want to say that I'm safe. Everything's going well. It's just very uncertain times. And yeah, it can be unsettling. And I kind of took some time to reflect. I could have posted episodes already of interviews I had with guests that are scheduled for the upcoming weeks, but I wanted to come back first with a solo episode and give you an honest update of how I feel, how is everything going on for me personally, how I'm dealing through all of this. So let's start from the beginning. So end of Feb, that was the 28th of Feb, obviously when all the news started to pop, I remember I was chilling at the beach with my friends and we were like, nah, it's gonna be fine. And slowly over the course of the night, things escalated. And I must say it was a first time experience for me to actually hear the bangs. But I am forever grateful for all the people that was here for me, that supported me, that checked on me. And I want to take a moment as well to thank every single one of you who's been here for me, physically or virtually. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, it really means so much. It's in times like this that you realize the people that cares for you, that are looking out for you. I got so many messages that I still have to reply because people are asking if I'm fine. People are asking how is things, and prayers and support. And for all of that, I'm eternally grateful. I'm grateful for my support system here, my Dubai family, like I like to call them. I'm not going to cite every single one of you because there's so many people that I'm super grateful and thankful for being here, because bear in mind, I'm far from my family. I'm far from my actual home, but I got all this support system, which is truly, truly beautiful. And it's in a moment like this that you realize, despite everything, you have to be grateful to be surrounded by the right people. And it is something that I've been preaching for since the beginning. Like I started this podcast, I remember in my couple of solo episodes, I talked about the fact that choose your people wisely, because people come and go in life, but the right people will stick with you through thick and thin, will be here when you need it the most, but will also be here to celebrate you. And these kind of people, cherish them, because honestly, it's so rare nowadays, so rare. So yeah, this is kind of your reminder of like being grateful for the people around you, being grateful for the friends that surround you, for your family, for everyone who's basically here for you. So honest feedback of how I feel at the moment. I'm not gonna lie to you, anxiety is over the roof. not because of the current ongoing situation, but because of the uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. So it does hit me a lot, but at the same time, I was able to take a step back and I reflected a lot, and I spoke to a couple of my friends, and I even journaled about it. And that's the reason why I wanted to come on the podcast today, to kind of share a bit of a little gold nugget for anyone who's listening, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to record another episode. I don't know what life has like reserved for us, but if one thing I can share in today's episode is these little golden nuggets that I kind of reflected on. And I'm going to pull out my phone for that because I did write it down a little bit. So one of the things that obviously with everything that happened made me realize that life is unpredictable, and we take life for granted. We think that we have time to do whatever we want to do. May that be that career that you want to start. May that be that person that you want to say that you love them. May that be that relationship that you want to jump into. May that be that country that you want to go and visit. Whatever that may be, we as human beings, and myself, we get very comfortable with life. And it's in times like this that you realize that in a switch, in a second, your life can change. In a space of literally a couple of hours, everything can change. And that was a bit of a wake-up call for me to start making the things that I want to do as a priority, which means like rather than waiting next year, 2 years, 3 years, God knows how many years down the line, why don't we do it now? Why don't we just take that leap of faith and jump and do it, take some risk. That's the biggest thing I want to remind myself. And I hope that this is also a reminder to yourself. Take that risk, take that leap of faith, That idea that you got that is in the back of your mind and you're just like, oh, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Because you never know. You never know when you will be able to give it a shot, So whilst I was thinking about that as well, it made me realize that obviously we get comfortable, one. Second, there is that fear, that constant fear of like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't turn out how I want to be? Blah, blah, blah. But imagine that in your brain, if you had a switch button and you can turn off that switch button, guess what? There will be no fear. You take that step forward, In life, whatever's happening, you have to take that leap of faith in everything that you want to do and achieve. If you want to grow, as uncomfortable as growth could be and can be, but you have to be willing to give it a shot. Because right now, it was again a reminder that I would rather live my life to the fullest than having regrets. I don't want that if, God forbid, something happened to me tomorrow, that I'll be like, oh my God, I am so sad. I should have done that. I should have done that. No, let's change that script. I did it. I lived my life to the fullest. Maybe it didn't go as per plan, but it's okay. I gave it a shot, And another part of it is that fear of failure. And Stephen Bartlett mentioned it so many times in whenever he talks in when he speaks in front of audiences or on his podcast or even in his book, he mentioned about failing. And one of the things that very often us as human beings we're scared, and me number one, is to fail, because failure feel like you didn't achieve something. But the reality is that failure can help you to improve and can help you to go a step ahead. Through failure, it's a journey of learning, right, this didn't work out. How can I switch it? Or what can I do to make it better? So along with the fact that I am putting forward the idea of taking risk and having that leap of faith, I do want to put forward that, even if you take that leap of faith, there's no guarantee what's the outcome's going to look like. You might be successful, but you might also fail. But you have to be comfortable with failure in the sense that it's fine, because we are stronger than we believe we are. And we have so much power within us. The power is not from me talking to you right now, or you listening to a motivational quote, or no, the power is within you. Like every single human being that exists in this world, your power is within yourself. You are the only one who can take that leap of faith and action. And that is something that was a bit of an aha moment. And obviously, the reason of the why I didn't continue with the podcast was beyond my control. It was because of things that I could not control. But one thing that was on my mind when I was reflecting about, taking that leap of faith and going forward was the podcast. Because the reality was the podcast was never about me. The podcast was about having those honest conversation, having that safe space for people to share their journey, to share their knowledge, to share everything to help every single one of you who's listening to better your life. And that is when I was like, no, I don't know what's going to happen, but I want to record this episode and I want to put my effort into being consistent, because another thing is consistency. Whatever you do in life, may that be a sport, may that be rewiring your brain, rewiring your thoughts, may that be getting better at something. It's the momentum of consistency, of doing it on repeat, on and on and on and on. That's how you get better and you grow. And this is something that I didn't do with the podcast, and I am so upset of myself of not doing so. Hence why my leap of faith and me taking risks is pushing forward with the podcast, is stop procrastinating with the reels and really take time to sit down and post those reels and really raise awareness. Because as I said, the podcast was never about me. The podcast was to raise awareness. And that's why I started Unfiltered with Mia. Obviously at the beginning it was me as well, but I renamed it Unfiltered with Mia for a reason, because it was raw conversation, honest conversation, unfiltered conversation, which I'm excited to be recording again and again until obviously time allows me to do so. I don't know, obviously. What I can promise and what I can control is me posting and me working on my reels and me trying to be as regular as I can be, given the fact that obviously I can record, yeah? So use my example and sit down for a moment, right? And think about, what is that one thing that I have been pushing away for a while and I didn't take maybe the action towards it? What could that be? What is that dream that you've always dreamt about and you have it maybe on your vision board or in your diary or somewhere, that on your phone whatsoever, you wrote about it and you're like, I want to do this. What is that? Go reflect on that and take a step, because that one step will help you to take the second step and the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth, and that's how you grow. Obviously, you play with the circumstances, you think outside the box. Very often we think, oh my God, yeah, because of everything that is happening, I can't do XYZ. Okay, I can't do XYZ right now, but how can I make sure I can still provide or deliver something despite everything that is ongoing, So that are my little tips about taking action, taking risk, and not being afraid of failing. And coming back to Unfiltered with Mia, I also had a thought about why I started. Obviously, I just mentioned about it. I've said that obviously it was for the honest conversation. And the reason why was because rare are the times that we are authentic to the people around us, So live a life where you are unapologetically yourself, because we live in a society or in a world that we try to fit the trend, fit the box, fit a certain criteria, but that may not be you, So do the things that feels right for you, and disregard what people may think whatsoever, because that is when you see that spark. That is when you make the difference. That's when you stand out, because you decide to live authentically. So that is another little bit of a golden nugget for you guys. And I guess lastly, the last thing that I do want to point out is love the people around you that are here for you, you know? Like, give them that love. I'll be a bit vulnerable with you all today, and I'll share something that I usually wouldn't want to share, but I want you guys to understand where I'm trying to get around that point. Is because of the dynamic with my parents, I always felt like I had to kind of run away, or I had to set boundaries or whatsoever. But then with everything that happened, I realized how much they love me, and that's their way of showing love to me, you know? And it's fine, they're not perfect, nobody is perfect, so I still love them, you know? Rather than thinking of the negative side of things, let's look at the positive side of things, you know, that's all the good things out of it, you know? So for example, now, obviously before, if my mom would message me on repeat, asking me what you're doing, why you're not answering, I'd be like, oh, come on, mom, you know I'm busy, right? That would be a normal reaction to me. But now it's like, I actually take time to, even if I don't get them on the phone, I just send them a voice note. Hey, how you doing? I'm all right. I miss you and I love you. That changes so much things. And it's not just down to your parents. That could be your siblings. That could be your friends. That could be literally anyone, you know? So yeah, and be grateful, because in times like this, obviously where everyone's anxious, everyone's unsettled, everyone's living in that uncertainty. And it's funny because if you're not in the UAE, you would be like, oh, but things are fine. But even though you're not in the UAE, I am pretty sure in whichever country that you are right now, you are still living in that fear and that what if. So as much as right now it implies most importantly to the people here, but it will also resonate to the people around the world, because it is something that affects every single one of us. Me, number one. So let's stop living in fear. Let's love deeply, you know? We're scared to love because we're scared to be hurt, you know? But I always believed, you know, for me personally, I always said one of my biggest strengths is that I can love deeply. And this is something that comes with its cons per se, because when you love deeply, eventually there's a probability of you getting hurt, right? But that's okay, because at the end of the day, you got yourself. And when you love yourself so much, you're like, it's fine. I love myself and I can love the people around me as much as I love myself, you know? So yeah, I think I blabbed a bit around, but I think the main idea is that I want people to understand to stop taking life for granted. This is again a reminder that we take life so much for granted, and we took it for granted so many times. Like if we think about COVID, I remember for COVID, it was a reminder for me that I wanted to travel more, because when I was in the UK, living in the UK, I was so hyper-focused with my masters and my studies that I didn't want to allow myself a break, bearing in mind I was in the UK, yeah? So I could have traveled around Europe easily and for cheap. But I was so laser focused of like, no, I'll keep it for after. Right now I'll focus on my studies, and that's about it. And when COVID hit and we were stuck for over 6 months in the UK, and there was like God knows how many lockdowns, I realized, I was like, damn, I could have traveled, you know? I could have traveled and made most of it before that COVID happened, you know? So why do we always have to wait for something that is out of our control to take action, you know? Again, take action today. Don't wait for something to happen. Don't wait for something that is out of your control to happen for you to take that leap of faith and to live authentically and to love deeply. So these are kind of my golden nuggets, and I could blab along so much with you guys, but I'm going to leave this episode really short and sweet. by obviously sharing these little things that I reflected on, which I hope you will take it for yourself and use it for your advantage, because again, Unfiltered with Mia is here to reflect about life, is to be honest, it's to be raw and unfiltered. And yeah, you know, that's the best way I could kind of sum up how I feel right now. Yes, I'm anxious, I'm not gonna lie, but we live a day at a time with taking more action, taking leap of faith, taking time to reconnect with your friends, speaking. I'm really bad at replying to messages, and actually that reminded me that, hey, sit down for a moment and reply to your friends, reply to your people, and talk to them and reconnect, you know? And then you have amazing conversation and you're like, wow, yeah, I should have done that earlier, you know? So I guess me leaving this episode would be like, don't wait for something to happen to take action, honestly. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I have to repeat myself so you guys understand how important that is, you know? Don't put, who cares about the people that are draining your energy, you know? Focus your energy on positive things, you know? Focus on the things that you enjoy. You know, we're surrounded by so many people and energies, and there's a lot of negativity as much as positivity. And I don't want to sound like that positive queen that, oh my God, yeah, you have to wake up and be positive and life is beautiful. No, but you have the choice at the end of the day. Every single one of you, us, have a choice which path you want to go. Think about it like a mind map. If you were in the middle, you have one path for the negative side and then you have one path for the positive side. You have the choice. Whatever you do in your life, you always have the choice. So you choose which path you want to lead and you keep moving forward. If you fail, it's okay. You go back, you go again. So yeah, all the choices are in our hands. It's just about taking action now. And I guess that's how I'm going to end today's episode. I hope that every single one of you are staying safe if you're in the UAE. I hope that everyone's doing well around the world. I'm sending all my love, obviously. And thank you again. I am beyond grateful and beyond thankful. I think that thank you is such a small word to express the amount of gratitude that I have for every single one of you who's reached out to me, people that I didn't even expect to reach out to me or who was there for me. Thank you so much, because I needed that. And it's nice to feel the amount of love and support and prayers that is ongoing at the moment. So yeah. And I guess I'm trying to think. You know, one more thing I want to add. I know I said I was going to leave it here, but before, there's something else that came to my mind, is to make peace. What that means is, like, let's say if you had like a grudge or something with someone. Why do you live in grudge? Again, coming back to choices. Forgive, move forward, you know? And yeah, just live a life of pure peace, content, taking action, getting driven by the things that you do. Because when you do the things that you enjoy, you wake up every single morning excited for life, you know? And even when there are days where it's a bit tougher to get out of bed, you will still wake up because you want to go ahead and make it happen. All right. So take it some time, reflect on what I've been blabbing around, and I hope it helps someone who's listening. If you want to talk or have a conversation, feel free to obviously write in the description box on YouTube or message me on my Instagram, Unfiltered with Mia. And let's connect, let's have a chat. Yeah, because at the end of the day, one of the beautiful things I realize is that in times like this, we're not alone. We're actually super supported. So you're not alone. All right. So on that note, I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.